Hi, I'm Nelson. Welcome to the Phyrexia All Will Be One rules video.
I'm Serge. Here are the new and returning mechanics. Poison is back, and this time there's a bit of a twist. The old poison rules still apply. 10 counters and you're dead. But instead of infectious, creatures are now toxic. Just awful to be around. Toxic N means players dealt combat damage by this creature also get N poison counters. A player with 10 or more poison counters loses the game. This is a state-based action and doesn't use the stack, just like a player losing the game due to having 0 or less life. Unlike Infect, Toxic only applies an amount of poison counters equal to the ability number. Toxic 1 would only ever apply 1 poison counter regardless of the power of the creature. Creatures with Toxic still deal combat damage as normal based on their power. Toxic is an additional effect of that damage, so any other effects such as lifelink still apply. Toxic has no effect on damage dealt to other creatures or planeswalkers, so no more -1/-1 counters on creatures. Toxic has no effect on non-combat damage dealt to players. Since this is going to come up, multiple instances of Toxic are cumulative.
Fan of living weapons, but hate germ tokens? Oddly specific example, but good news for you in particular. For Mirrodin means when this equipment enters the battlefield, create a 2/2 red rebel creature token, then attach this to it. The rebel enters the battlefield as a 2/2 creature, then the equipment becomes attached to it. Abilities that trigger when a creature enters the battlefield, see a 2/2 creature entered the battlefield.
A fun thing about Phyrexia All Will Be One
This isn't really a plane I would associate with fun.
is that it introduces a new ability word Corrupted, counter type oil counters, and land type Sphere. They're all super thematic and cool, but they don't actually add any new rules or mechanics, and don't have any significance outside of being referred to by some spells or abilities.
As we're fond of saying around here, reading the card explains the card. But if you have any questions, don't hesitate to call a judge. As soon as you heard Poison was back, you had to have some suspicions that Proliferate was right around the corner. You were right! Great job, no notes. Proliferate means choose any number of permanents and/or players, then give each another counter of each kind already there. To proliferate, you can choose any permanent or player that has a counter, including ones controlled by opponents. You can't choose cards in any zone other than the battlefield, even if they have counters on them. You don't have to choose every permanent or player that has a counter, only the ones you want to add another counter to. Any number can also include 0. An ability that triggers whenever you proliferate triggers even if you chose no permanents or players. If the effects of a spell or ability include proliferate, players can respond to it as normal. However, once the spell is resolving and the controller is selecting which permanents they want to proliferate upon, it's too late to respond. Reminder, if a permanent has a +1/+1 counter and a -1/-1 counter on it at the same time, they're both removed as a state-based action. This isn't technically part of how Proliferate works, but if you're planning any shenanigans, it's useful information.
That's it for the new and returning mechanics.
Good luck to all the players today.
Thanks.